5:02 a.m. A fist hammers your front door like it owes someone money. You open it. Your reclusive neighbor, the man who barely says hello, stands there pale, sweating, eyes wide with terror. Don't go to work today. Not for any reason. Just stay home. You think he's lost it. You stay home anyway. 11 hours later, the police call. Mass shooting at your office. Multiple casualties. Your car on camera. Your keycard used. Your belongings at the scene. Except you never left your couch. Someone didn't just steal your identity. They tried to write you into history as the monster. What they never expected was that my dead father left me a kill switch that could topple billion-dollar empires and burn classified programs to the ground. If you've ever felt completely powerless against people who believe they own you, stay. This one's going to take a while. And it's worth every second. If you've ever been betrayed so deeply you couldn't breathe, if you've ever fantasized about the moment the mask finally slips and the world sees the truth, smash that like button now. Subscribe. Turn on notifications because stories like this only get told when people like you demand them. Drop in the comments. Have you ever felt like someone was secretly controlling your life? Where in the world are you watching from tonight? Let's begin. My name is Alyssa Rowan, 33. Financial analyst at Henning & Cole Investments, one of those glass tower firms where everyone wears quiet money and fake smiles. I lived alone in the old Victorian my grandmother left me. Creaky hardwood floors, too many bookshelves, the kind of house that remembers every argument and every laugh. Structured. Safe. Boring, some would say. Until the morning it all cracked open. The pounding was violent. Not a polite knock, a demand. I remember the exact feeling. Cold air leaking under the door, the way my bare feet stuck slightly to the floorboards from last night's spilled tea. The clock glowed 5:02. No one good comes at that hour. I pulled on the nearest sweatshirt, Dad's old college one, still faintly smelling of his aftershave even after 3 months, and opened the door just enough to see Gabriel Stone, my neighbor. The man who once helped me carry groceries without saying more than "let me get that," and then disappeared back into his house like smoke. Now his face was the color of old paper, pupils blown wide, breath sawing in and out like he'd run from something much farther than next door. "Don't go to work today," he said. Voice low, urgent, almost pleading. "Stay home. Just trust me." I stared. Gabriel didn't do emotion. He didn't do conversation. He mowed his lawn at exactly 8:15 every Saturday, waved once if our eyes met, and that was the extent of our relationship. Seeing him like this felt like watching a statue bleed. "Gabriel, what the hell is going on?" My own voice sounded thin, childish. He glanced left, right, scanning the sleeping street as if expecting snipers in the maple trees. "I can't explain. Not here. Not now. A swallow. You'll understand by noon. Please. Just promise me." Then he stepped back, melted into the pre-dawn dark, and was gone. I stood there for almost a full minute, hand frozen on the knob, cold air curling around my ankles. The rational part of my brain tried to laugh it off. Mental health crisis. Bad dream. Wrong house. But another part, smaller, older, the part that still believed in my father's half-finished sentences and worried glances, whispered, "Listen. 3 months earlier my world had already tilted. Dad. 61. Gone in one night. Official cause. Massive ischemic stroke. No history of heart problems. No warning. Except there were warnings. For 2 weeks before he died he kept saying, 'Alyssa, there's something I need to show you. Something about our family. It's time you knew.' Every time I pressed he'd shake his head. Not yet. Soon. Then he was gone. And the strange things started. A black SUV with tinted windows parked across the street for 4 days straight. Engine off. No one ever getting out. My phone ringing at 3 a.m. from blocked numbers, silence on the line, then a click. My sister Sophie, teaching English in Seoul, texting out of nowhere. "Allie, has anyone new moved in nearby? Anyone asking about you?" I told her no. I told myself I was imagining things. Until this morning. I texted my manager. "Family emergency. Won't be in today. Sorry." Then I waited. The house felt different. Every tick of the grandfather clock in the hallway sounded personal. The refrigerator hummed like it was trying to tell me a secret. Wind scraped branches against the siding, slow fingernails. By 10:30 I was pacing. Maybe Gabriel had a psychotic break. Maybe I was the crazy one for listening. By 11:15 I was almost convinced I'd wasted a sick day. Then the phone rang. Unknown caller. I almost didn't answer. But something made me swipe. Ms. Rowan? This is Officer Daniel Taylor, County Police Department. Calm. Professional. Too calm. Are you currently aware of a critical incident that occurred at your workplace this morning? The room tilted. What incident? A short exhale, the sound of someone choosing their next words very carefully. At approximately 11:47 a.m., an active shooter event was reported at the Henning and Cole building, 3rd and 4th floors. Multiple employees injured, several critically. Scene is still active. My knees gave. I caught myself on the back of the couch. That's impossible. I wasn't there. I've been home all day. Long pause. Then, ma'am, your vehicle was recorded entering the parking garage at 8:02 a.m. Your work ID badge was swiped at the main entrance at 8:04. Multiple witnesses describe seeing a woman matching your description on the 3rd floor, approximately 10 minutes before the first shots were fired. Ice water poured down my spine. My keys were on the kitchen counter. My car was sitting in the driveway under a thin layer of frost. I hadn't left the house. The scene includes multiple items belonging to you, the officer continued. Planner, coffee tumbler, jacket, items someone had taken from my home and planted like breadcrumbs. And we need to confirm your current location for your own safety, he added. Units were being dispatched to my residence. ETA. Approximately 12 minutes. Please remain at your address. He didn't say for questioning. He didn't need to. I moved on autopilot, closed every blind, locked the front door, checked the back. Another knock. Different this time. Controlled. 3 sharp raps. Official. I froze. Alyssa. It's Gabriel. Open the door. We have less than 10 minutes. I cracked it, an inch chain still on. His eyes locked on mine immediately, scanning, assessing. Not frantic anymore. Focused. Like a man who had done this before. They're not coming to protect you, he said. They're coming to take you into federal custody under asset recovery protocol. You were never supposed to wake up in your own bed this morning. My mouth went dry. How do you know that? He didn't answer. Instead he said, your father sent me. The chain came off before I even realized my hand had moved. Gabriel stepped inside, closed and locked the door in one smooth motion, went straight to the kitchen window, edged the blind aside half an inch, scanned the street. I didn't move next door by accident, he said. I've been watching over you for 11 months. Your father asked me to. He said one day they would come for you. He said when that day came, you would need someone who knew how to disappear. I took a step back. My father was an accountant. He did taxes for small businesses. He didn't. Gabriel cut me off, not rudely, but with the weight of certainty. Your father was never just an accountant. That was his cover for 19 years. He worked deep cover for a joint task force investigating black budget biogenetic programs. Programs that were never supposed to exist after the oversight hearings of 2009. He reached inside his jacket, pulled out a small matte black envelope, the kind that doesn't bend. He left this for you. He said if anything happened to him, you were to read it only when you had no other choice. My fingers shook so badly I almost dropped it. Inside, one sheet of thick cream paper. Dad's careful, slanted handwriting. Alyssa, if you're reading this, then what I feared most has already begun. You are not in danger because of anything you did. You are in danger because of who you are. There is more to your identity than I ever told you. More than I wanted you to carry. Gabriel knows the rest. Trust him the way you once trusted me. Do not let them take you in. If they get inside a facility, you will disappear. And not the way missing people disappear. The way assets disappear. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you sooner. I thought I had more time. I love you more than anything in this world. And I believe in you more than I ever believed in myself. Stay alive. Find the vault. Finish what I couldn't. Dad. I read it twice. Tears hit the paper before I could stop them. The ink blurred on I believe in you. Gabriel spoke softly. They're not just framing you as the shooter. They're positioning you as the origin of a new domestic terror threat. Once you're labeled that, they can seize every record, every file, every sample connected to your father's investigation. They can bury the truth he spent 2 decades protecting. I wiped my face. Why me? What do they want from me? He met my eyes. Your blood. Your DNA. You were never supposed to know this, but you were born into Project Origin. A classified attempt to engineer humans with extreme immunological resilience. Survivors of pandemics, chemical events, radiological exposure. You weren't engineered. You were discovered. The first naturally occurring success they'd ever seen. The room felt suddenly too small, too bright. My own heartbeat too loud. Gabriel pulled a slim red keycard from his pocket. Metal. Heavy. Embossed with the Rowan family crest my father used to doodle on napkins when I was little. This opens a secure vault your father maintained off-grid. Inside are encrypted drives containing names, funding trails, test results, termination orders. Everything. If we reach it first, we can release it all. If they reach you first, they erase the last living proof that the program ever existed, and rewrite history with you as the villain. I looked at the keycard, then at Dad's letter. Then at Gabriel, this stranger who suddenly knew more about my life than I did. The sirens were louder now, close enough to rattle the windows. I folded the letter carefully, slipped the keycard into my front pocket, looked at him and said the first thing that felt true in hours. Show me where we need to go. We barely made it out the back door. Gabriel had parked his SUV 2 streets over. Nondescript gray, plates already swapped. We sprinted through backyards, over fences, through rose bushes. Thorns tore my pajama pants. Blood on my calves, I didn't care. 2 black Suburbans turned onto my street. No lights. No sirens. Just slow, deliberate approach, predators that no longer needed theatrics. Gabriel floored it. Tires screamed. We shot down the alley, fishtailed onto a side road, then merged onto the highway. 20 minutes of tense silence on the highway. Gabriel kept checking mirrors. I kept my hands clenched in my lap so he wouldn't see them shake. There's something you need to see before we reach the vault. He pulled a rugged tablet from the center console. Tapped the screen. Rowan Alyssa. Subject designation 7B. Project Origin. Status: Genomic asset high priority. Notes: complete immunity profile to 17 known viral families. Accelerated tissue regeneration markers. Natural epigenetic expression never replicated in lab. Subject approved for Phase 2 integration. Deferred pending parental compliance. Gene maps. Blood panels. Childhood photos timestamped with coordinates I didn't remember being taken. A note dated when I was 11. Subject exhibits anomalous recovery from Stage 3 influenza. Recommend accelerated harvest protocol. Parent uncooperative. Recommend neutralization of oversight risk. Neutralization of my father. I looked up at Gabriel. Voice small. Did they kill him? He didn't flinch. They used a tailored neurotoxin. Same family of compounds developed inside the program. Made it look like a stroke. Clean. Untraceable. Until you know what to look for. I closed my eyes. Remembered Dad's face the last time I saw him, tired but smiling. Told me he loved me. Told me to be careful with my heart. He wasn't being sentimental. He was saying goodbye. Gabriel took an exit I didn't recognize. Highway gave way to county roads, gravel, dirt. Trees closed in. Headlights carved tunnels through the dark. After almost 40 minutes, we stopped at what looked like an abandoned quarry road. Rusted gate. Faded sign. Private and no trespassing. Gabriel cut the chain, drove through, resecured the gate behind us. Another 10 minutes of rough trail. Ground opened up. A low concrete structure almost completely overgrown with ivy and pine. Like the earth had tried to forget it. Gabriel killed the engine. Turned to me. Last chance, Alyssa. Once we go inside, there's no version of your old life waiting at the end. You'll know everything. And they will never stop hunting you. I've been hunted my whole life, I said. I just never knew why. I'm done running blind. He nodded once. Opened his door. Steel door groaned like something waking up. Inside, cold, dry air. Smell of old concrete and machine oil. Motion sensor lights flickered on in sequence, leading us down a long corridor. Gabriel moved like he'd walked this path many times. I followed, heart hammering, half expecting armed guards around every corner. Sealed rooms labeled only with numbers. B14, B09, D22. Finally a larger door. Circular. Heavy. Rowan crest engraved dead center. Same one Dad used to draw absent-mindedly. Small panel on the wall. Palm scanner. Green outline glowed. Your bloodline is the only key left, Gabriel said. Your father made sure of it. I pressed my palm down. Warmth spread across my skin. Soft chime. Deep mechanical clunk. The door began to rotate open, slow, heavy, final. Cold air rushed out. With it came a scent I hadn't smelled in years. Dad's study. Old books. Leather. Faint pipe tobacco. Circular room. Black metal shelves lined the walls. Matte black archival boxes. Coated labels. Red stripes. At the center, a glass pedestal. Under protective casing, one leather-bound journal. My father's journal. I lifted the case with shaking hands. Opened to the bookmarked page. Letter dated 2 weeks before he died. My dearest Alyssa, if you are holding this, then everything I feared has come true. You were never an accident. You were never property. 23 years ago, I was assigned to audit medical anomalies in civilian populations. I found your blood sample in a restricted database. H4. Marked. Origin candidate, natural expression. They weren't trying to cure disease. They were trying to build soldiers who could walk through pandemics, survive nerve agents, outlast nuclear winter. You were the first human born with the profile they had spent billions trying to engineer. They didn't create you. You simply happened. And that terrified them more than anything. I tried to get you out. I failed. So I did the only thing left. I became the man who knew too much. Everything you need is here. Names. Dates. Accounts. Proof. At the far wall is the master terminal. 2 options. Acquisition protocol, surrender control. They get what they want. You live but never free. Revelation protocol, every document, every recording, every name floods to preset public channels. The world sees. They fall. The choice has always been yours. I only ever wanted you to have one. I love you beyond measure. I always have. Forgive me for the years I couldn't tell you. Your father. I couldn't see the words anymore. Tears kept coming. Hot. Silent. I wiped them with my sleeve and kept reading the next pages. Names, dates, facilities, funding streams. Senators. CEOs. Generals. People I'd seen on TV smiling at charity galas. Gabriel stood quietly by the door. Not pushing. Just waiting. I walked to the terminal. 2 buttons under glass. Red, acquisition. Green, revelation. Countdown timer. 90 seconds. I looked back at Gabriel. He didn't speak. Just gave the smallest nod. I lifted the glass cover. Finger hovered. Pressed green. A low hum filled the chamber. Screen lit up. Revelation protocol initiated. Files streamed. Dozens. Hundreds. Thousands. Encrypted torrents. Mirror sites. Major newsrooms. International oversight organizations. Social media dark pools. Everything Dad had collected. Unstoppable. Alarms exploded. Red lights strobed. Mechanical voice. Security breach detected. Lockdown initiated. Gabriel grabbed my arm. We're out of time. Emergency tunnel, narrow, damp, steel ladder at the end. We climbed fast. Lungs burned. Thighs screamed. Popped into pine needles and moonlight. Helicopters thumping overhead. Searchlights carving white tunnels through trees. Gabriel pulled me down behind a fallen trunk. Stay low. 1 vehicle left. Half a mile west. If we make it, we vanish. Branches whipped my face. Mud sucked at my shoes. Spotlight swept once, heat on my neck, then moved on. Second hidden Jeep. Camo paint. Keys and ignition. Gabriel drove like the devil was behind us. Because he was. Fallout took weeks. Leaks hit independent journalists at 4:17 a.m. By sunrise, cable news. By noon, international. Arrests 48 hours later. Board members. Former directors. 2 senators. 4-star general. Program decommissioned officially. Press called it rogue historical research effort. Called me unstable. Troubled individual manipulated by anti-government elements. Files were ironclad. Cross-referenced. Time-stamped. Impossible to spin. 1 hour 27 minutes and 30 seconds. I disappeared. New name. New country. New face, minor changes, enough. Gabriel vanished too, said there were still pieces to protect. Left me one last note. You didn't just survive them. You ended them. Your father would be proud. Soft music, reflective tone. I think about Dad every day. Not just the secrets. Sunday pancakes. Sci-fi novels with silly voices. Hugs like I was the only thing that mattered. He didn't die a victim. He died a soldier who won the long war. Me? No longer hiding. No longer afraid of what's in my blood. As it turns out, what they wanted to control was never theirs to begin with. If this story lit something inside you, that feeling of real justice after years of powerlessness, hit like. Subscribe if you want more stories reminding you the truth still has teeth. Share with anyone who needs to remember that one person can bring down giants. Comment below. What would you do if your whole life was someone else's experiment? Where are you watching from tonight? Thank you for staying until the end. You're the reason stories like this still get told. Until next time, stay awake, stay angry, stay free.